Trump came ready for a fight. Obama came ready for the truth. And that's why one of them walked off. Tension in America isn't new. But tonight, it doesn't just hang in the air. It presses down on everything. People are tired, not just annoyed, but worn to the bone. The kind of exhaustion that seeps into dinner tables, car rides, and late-night shifts. Every topic feels like a spark waiting to catch fire. Every opinion feels like a fight waiting to start. Money is tight. Prices keep climbing. Arguments break out in grocery aisles, gas stations, and family group chats. Workplaces are divided. Politics isn't a side topic anymore. It's breakfast table warfare. The country isn't watching this broadcast to be entertained. They're watching because something deep inside tells them that tonight is different. Some sit at kitchen tables with the TV turned low. Others gather in bars, restaurants, and hotel lobbies where staff pretend to clean just to stay close to the screen. Newsrooms go quiet. Commentators lower their voices. Even people who normally don't care tune in, sensing that something big could happen. Because this isn't just another debate. It's the kind of night where anything could break loose. A live debate. Not between rivals on a campaign trail, but something far stranger, a sitting president and a former president face to face. Unscripted. Unfiltered. In the most unpredictable moment in modern American history. Donald Trump sits at one end of the stage. He's not just a politician, he's the president again. Every move now carries the weight of the White House. He leans forward, jaw tight, ready to strike at the first sign of weakness. Across from him sits Barack Obama. Calm, measured, but far from passive. He's been out of office for years, yet his words still land heavier than most speeches in Washington. His tone carries weight. His pauses command attention. The moderators know this night could turn into a storm. They've got emergency cuts ready. Producers off stage stand like they're guiding a plane through thunder. When the cameras go live, the nation doesn't blink. There's no handshake, no pleasantries. They go straight in, but not how anyone expects. The opening isn't about policy. There's no talk of trade borders or foreign allies, no mention of inflation or jobs. The air is too thick for that. Both men know something darker and more personal is already sitting between them. People watching from home feel it before anyone speaks. Some fold their arms. Some hold their breath. Others mutter, "Here we go." But no one turns away. Every living room, bar, and dorm becomes a wire of tension. Even people who hate politics can sense something off. Tonight doesn't feel like a debate where one side cheers and the other complains. It feels like a lid is about to blow off something the whole country has felt, but never named. Outside, the streets are strangely quiet. Cars are parked. Windows glow blue. Dogs wait by doors because their walks got postponed. Couples who were arguing an hour ago now sit in silence. It's as if the whole country is leaning in, connected by tension and screens. In news studios across the nation, commentators sit ready with notes they barely touch. They don't know if they're covering politics history or collapse. They've never seen a night like this. Online threads are open, but slow hands hovering above keyboards waiting. In a dim apartment, a man in his 60s stares at the screen, untouched dinner beside him. Two teenage brothers, who usually fight for the remote, now sit side by side, silent. In a quiet house in Nevada, a woman mutes her phone so nothing interrupts. A family in Detroit turns off every light except the TV. Nobody trusts the night to behave. The host introduces the speakers carefully, as if handling glass. The applause is polite, but hollow. Even the clapping sounds uneasy. The camera closes in. The difference in energy is clear. Obama sits back, composed, breathing evenly, his suit untouched by nerves. He watches Trump like a man who already knows how storms form. Trump leans forward, restless fingers tightening on the desk, ready to unload. The host asks a safe, forgettable opening question. But the answers aren't safe. That first shift is small, but everyone feels it. The direction of the night changes not with shouting, but with silence. The kind that comes right before something loud. Across millions of homes and crowded bars, people realize one thing without anyone saying it. This won't stay a debate. Something's about to snap. Something buried is coming up, and when it does, the country won't be the same afterward. What comes next happens like lightning, sudden, blinding, irreversible. The host finishes his question. Everyone expects a measured start, but Trump doesn't ease in. He doesn't build tension. He cuts straight through it. His eyes lock onto Obama, and his tone drops all pretense of civility. He skips policy and strikes at identity, not performance, not leadership. Identity. The insult lands like a punch in a crowded room. For a heartbeat silence. No whispers, no movement. The audience freezes, unsure whether to react or pretend it didn't happen. Some glance at the host, waiting for a rule to be enforced. Others stare at Obama, waiting for his reaction. In living rooms, the same stillness. A teenager blinks and looks at his mom. Did he just say that? A woman at home whispers, "No way." Even people who've defended Trump before feel uneasy. The words feel different, too sharp, too personal. The moderators freeze. One almost steps in but stops. Maybe afraid. Maybe knowing it won't help. Then all eyes shift to Obama. He doesn't blink, not a flinch. He doesn't lean back, doesn't show shock. He holds the silence. He doesn't take the bait. Instead, he breathes a slow, deliberate breath, like a man already calculating 5 moves ahead. His face stays calm. Too calm. Then he speaks. Not fast, not loud, but with the kind of clarity that's louder than shouting. He doesn't defend himself. He doesn't retaliate. He talks about something bigger. What happens when leaders mistake insults for truth? It feels like he's been saving this tone for years, waiting for this exact moment. Viewers lean in, drawn not by drama, but by steadiness. And that steadiness feels dangerous in its own way. He doesn't say Trump's name. He talks about leadership built on anger, instead of answers, on attacks, instead of facts. His words are surgical, not scolding. Trump shifts in his chair, jaw tightening. He looks ready to interrupt, but Obama keeps going unshaken. The silence after Trump's insult turns into something else. Curiosity mixed with tension. People expecting a shouting match get something far more lethal precision. Obama doesn't raise his hands, doesn't lean forward, doesn't match fire with fire. That restraint makes it even more threatening to the man across from him. Trump expected chaos. He gets composure. And composure can't be out-yelled. Someone in the control room whispers, "This is about to go bad." A producer watches the clock, debating whether to cut to commercial, but no one moves. Obama's voice stays even as he pivots from principle to something personal. He says leadership is tested not in comfort, but when character is on trial. He reminds everyone that lies are louder than truth, but never longer lasting. He still hasn't mentioned the insult, but every word feels like a mirror aimed straight at Trump. You can feel the air vibrating between them. Then it happens, a shift so slight only the closest watchers catch it. Obama glances at Trump. Just once. just long enough to send a message no one can quite name, but everyone feels. The look says it all. He's done letting things slide. Trump feels it. The host feels it. Every viewer feels it. This isn't ending with talk of respect. It's only beginning. Obama finishes his answer calm but final. The quiet afterward feels like the second before an alarm. Trump opens his mouth to strike again. But before he can, the moderator tightens his grip on the papers in his hand, like bracing for a storm. The crowd doesn't move. No one claps. No one coughs. The tension sits thick in the air. Viewers everywhere realize that the insult wasn't the explosion. It was the fuse, and the blast is still coming. The pause stretches just long enough for the world to breathe. Then Trump goes in again. He leans toward the microphone, his voice sharper now, stripped of humor. "You know what's funny, Barack?" he says, forcing a smirk that doesn't reach his eyes. "You talk a lot about character. You talk about truth. But you had 8 years, and what did America get? Broken promises, division, weakness. And me, I had to clean it up." The crowd murmurs. Some clap, some boo. But mostly they hold their breath. Obama doesn't move. He lets the noise die down, his expression unreadable. Then he says quietly, "You didn't clean it up, Donald. You swept it under the rug." The line lands like a slow thunderclap. Trump blinks, caught off guard. "Excuse me." Obama leans forward now, just slightly, but his voice stays even. "You didn't fix division. You monetized it. You didn't heal pain. You televised it. You made anger a brand and fear a product." The crowd stirs. Cameras flash. Producers in the control room exchange panicked looks. This is no longer a debate. It's a reckoning. Trump's face reddens. "You're just mad I did what you couldn't. The people loved me because I told them the truth, because I didn't lie like every polished politician before me." Obama tilts his head, a faint trace of disbelief. The truth, he lets the word linger. Donald Truth doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need slogans or hats or rallies. It stands on its own. The audience shifts. The sound techs in the back hear people exhaling into their microphones. Trump scoffs. "Oh, please. You had your teleprompters. You had your media. I had the people. They still love me more than they ever loved you." Obama gives a half smile, not smug, but sad. "If love looks like mob's lies and broken glass, then maybe you and I define it differently." That line lands hard. Somewhere backstage, a producer whispers, "Oh my God." Trump straightens in his chair, trying to regain control. "You think you're better than everyone else, don't you? You talk like you're some kind of moral saint. But your legacy is weakness. My legacy is strength." Obama's tone doesn't change. "Strength." He leans in, his voice quiet but cutting. "Strength isn't yelling over everyone in the room. It's standing alone when you know the crowd will hate you for telling the truth. You built a movement around grievance, not growth. That's not strength. That's addiction." The word addiction hangs in the air like smoke. Trump clenches his jaw. The moderator tries to interject. "Gentlemen, please, let's move to the next." But Trump waves him off. No, let him finish." Trump snaps. "Go ahead, Barack. Preach. You're good at speeches. But when it comes to running a country, you failed." Obama takes a breath, measured. If running a country means making half of it hate, the other half, then maybe failure was mercy. The audience gasps. Someone in the front row mutters, "He's done." Trump points a finger. "You know what your problem is. You think you're some kind of prophet. But you left America weaker, poorer, and more divided." And the only reason you're even here tonight is because I let you stay relevant." Obama's eyes sharpen, not angry, but steady, like a pilot leveling through turbulence. "You didn't let me stay relevant, Donald. The truth did. And the truth doesn't need permission." For a second, there's silence. You can almost hear the hum of the cameras. The moderator, sweating, tries again. "Let's please, turn to the economy." But Trump interrupts. No, we're staying right here. Because this man wants to act like he's the moral compass of America, when he couldn't even hold his own party together. Obama's expression shifts, subtle, but unmistakable. The teacher is done letting the student talk. "Donald," he says, calm but firm. "The problem isn't that you broke the rules. It's that you broke trust. You turned the presidency into a mirror for your ego. You told people that chaos was courage and cruelty was honesty." Trump laughs, but it's hollow. "You sound like CNN." Obama leans closer. "And you sound like every man who mistook applause for respect." The audience gasps again. Trump blinks rapidly. "You think people respect you more than me?" Obama's voice softens, but the softness makes it worse. "I don't need them to. Respect that has to be demanded isn't respect. It's fear. And fear doesn't let." Trump's face tightens. His lips tremble, not with sadness but rage. "You're a fraud," he spits. "A globalist puppet who left the country weak enough for me to take it back." Obama nods slowly, as if acknowledging something deep. "And yet here you are, still fighting ghosts. Still trying to win the war you already lost." Trump's eyebrows shoot up. "What war?" "The one inside you," Obama says. "The one where the crowd's cheers have to drown out your own doubt. That lands like a hammer. Even the cameramen flinch." The room goes still. The moderator's eyes dart from one to the other, unsure what to do. Trump's breathing grows heavier. "You think you can psychoanalyze me?" he growls. "You think you know me?" Obama looks at him not with disdain, but pity. "I know what fear looks like when it wears power like armor." The crowd doesn't react. They're frozen. Trump's jaw moves, but no words come. His hand grips the desk. "You don't know a damn thing about me." Obama's tone stays soft. "I know you're still running from the one thing you can't insult: accountability." The word slices through the air. Trump pushes back his chair slightly. "You're sanctimonious, Barack. You think words make you wise. But I made action. I made America strong." Obama nods. "Strong isn't breaking what you can't control. Strong is building what you'll never get credit for." A murmur runs through the crowd. Cameras flash faster now. The control room shouts, "Do not cut to break." Trump's voice rises. "You failed this country." Obama doesn't flinch. "And you endangered it." The two men stare across the table, the silence burning hotter than the shouting. Trump tries again. "You lied to the American people." Obama replies, "You lied to yourself first." That's it. The line that breaks the air. Trump stands up. The moderator half rises, unsure if this is real. The audience gasps. Someone yells, "Sit down." But Trump doesn't. He grips the edge of the table, his voice shaking with fury. "I don't have to take this sanctimonious garbage from a failed president." Obama stays seated, eyes calm. Voice low, then don't. Trump freezes. Caught off guard, Obama continues slowly. "If truth offends you, you can leave. The door's right there." The cameras catch it. The look, the hesitation, the pride too heavy to sit down, too fragile to stay standing. Trump looks around at the crowd, the lights, the lens that never blinks. And then he does it. He walks off. Gasps. Shouts. The moderator stammers. President Trump has, stepped away from the stage. Obama doesn't move. He doesn't smirk. He simply sits there quiet, the kind of quiet that feels earned. When the noise finally fades, he leans toward the microphone and says softly, "Leadership isn't proven when you're winning. It's proven when you stay after the other man walks away." The crowd doesn't cheer at first. They just sit processing. Then, slowly applause begins to rise. Not the kind of clapping for entertainment, the kind that comes from recognition. And as Obama looks into the camera, his voice drops into that tone, the one that made millions listen years ago. "America," he says, "we've had enough of noise. It's time to start listening again to reason, to truth, and to each other." Cut to black. The screen fades in from black. It's the next morning. News networks are running wild. CNN's headline reads, "Trump walks off stage." During debate with Obama, Fox News flashes Obama ambush or meltdown. America reacts. Clips of the moment. Trump rising, Obama staying seated. The stunned moderator are looping on every platform, every phone, every feed. Across the country, living rooms, diners, and offices buzz with disbelief. Some laugh, some rage. But everyone's watching. Inside the control room of the network that hosted the debate, producers are still trying to catch their breath. One whispers, "Did we just witness history or career suicide?" Another replies, "Both." Meanwhile, Obama is alone in his dressing room. The crowd's roar has faded to a distant echo. He sits in front of the mirror, removing his microphone. His reflection, quiet and thoughtful. His longtime aide knocks lightly on the door. "You know you just broke the internet, right?" she says. Obama smiles faintly. "That wasn't the goal." She nods, understanding. "Still, you did what no one else could. You made him walk away." He exhales. "No," he says quietly. "He walked away long before tonight. The rest of us just saw it happen." Cut to Trump's motorcade. The windows are tinted, the night still heavy around him. He sits in silence, hands gripping his phone. The notifications keep buzzing, advisors, pundits, angry donors. One text flashes from his campaign manager. "We can spin this. Say it was rigged." Trump doesn't respond. He scrolls through the headlines, his reflection in the screen, hard and cold. Then slowly, he mutters under his breath, "They'll miss me when I'm gone." Back on social media, reactions explode. Hashtags trend worldwide. Obama's Trump, walk off. Truth. Wins. Memes flood TikTok commentary videos, rack up millions of views in hours. Late-night hosts can barely keep up. But beneath the noise, something else is happening. Clips of Obama's closing words. "Leadership isn't proven when you're winning. It's proven when you stay, after the other man walks away." Spread like wildfire. People begin quoting it, remixing it, dissecting it. For once, the conversation isn't about polls or insults. It's about truth. In Chicago, an old man at a coffee shop shakes his head. "I didn't vote for either of them," he says. "But that was the first time I heard someone speak like a president in years." In rural Texas, a young veteran rewatches the debate on his phone, pausing at the part where Obama says, "Strength isn't yelling over everyone in the room." He stares for a long time, then murmurs. Maybe he's right. In classrooms, teachers replay snippets for their students, not for the politics, but for the lesson in composure. And by evening, even the networks that once mocked Obama's calmness are calling it the comeback of conscience. Cut to a news anchor summarizing the fallout. Within hours, she says Obama's remarks have reignited national debate about civility leadership and truth in American politics. Meanwhile, Trump's team has canceled upcoming appearances, citing media bias and unfair editing. The camera cuts to a conservative strategist, shaking his head. This wasn't bias. It was a mirror, and he couldn't stand the reflection. Back in Washington, reporters crowd outside Obama's foundation office. Microphones flash. Questions overlap. Mr. Obama, do you have a comment on President Trump walking off stage? He stops at the doorway, turns slightly toward the cameras and says only, "We all have moments that define us. What we do next is what history remembers." Then he walks inside, leaving the chaos behind. Night falls again. A montage plays footage from across the country, people talking in bars and churches at kitchen tables. Political lines still exist, but the tone has shifted. For the first time in years, the argument isn't about which side is right, but what it means to be honest. In a newsroom, a young journalist looks at her editor. "You think this changes anything?" The editor shrugs. "Maybe not today." But moments like that, they leave echoes. Cut to a quiet scene. Obama sits on his porch at home, the night still. A candle burns beside him. He scrolls through his phone reading messages, some hateful, some grateful, some simply stunned. Then he sets the phone down and looks up at the sky. "You can't win every fight," he says softly, almost to himself. But sometimes standing still is enough. The scene fades to Trump's Florida estate. He's pacing in his private office, lit only by the glow of television screens. On one of them, a replay of Obama's words echoes again. "The problem isn't that you broke the rules. It's that you broke trust." Trump turns away from the screen, but the sound follows him. He grabs the remote, mutes it, yet the silence feels louder. He stares out the window, where the ocean reflects the moonlight, vast, endless, and indifferent. For the first time, there's no crowd to perform for. Just the quiet. Cut to a commentator on a late-night panel. "Maybe this was never about politics," she says. "Maybe it was about watching two versions of America collide, the one that shouts and the one that listens." The camera pans to the host, who nods slowly, and only one stayed on the stage. The audience claps softly. Fade again to a college auditorium. A week later, a student raises his hand during a Q&A session. "Do you think that debate really mattered?" His professor smiles gently. Every generation needs a moment that forces it to choose between spectacle and substance. Maybe that was ours. In the hallway afterward, the students replay clips again. Not to mock, not to meme, but to study. And across the country, one image continues to circulate: Obama seated calmly at the debate table, while Trump storms off behind him. No slogan, no caption, just a still frame that says more than any headline could. The final voiceover begins soft, reflective, almost documentary-like. History rarely shouts. It whispers, waits, and tests the truth we claim to believe. Sometimes it takes just one quiet moment, one man staying seated, to remind us what leadership really looks like. A pause. Some debates end with applause. Others end with silence. But the ones that matter end with understanding. The screen fades to black. Then, in white text across the dark, "Truth doesn't walk off the stage. Fade out."